Alan and Heath has introduced a very inexpensive digital mixer this year.
Yes, we have. It's called Q16, a rack-mountable compact digital mixer. 19-inch, 16 channels. It takes all the technology from our flagship series like iLive and GLD.
And what is the price?
It's roughly 2,000 euros, street price, retail price.
And how is it possible to make it that inexpensive?
Well, basically, it's down to the cost of the technology getting cheaper and cheaper every year. So parts like touchscreen and faders, they get cheaper every year. And also, we could recycle all the DSP code and algorithms and effects that we developed in many years of research for the iLive and GLD system.
And this means that digital mixers are easier to make in new versions than analog mixers.
I would say so. They are. It's much easier to port the DSP code or the language of the mixer into a new platform.
And in this case, you also get the advantage that you can use components made for bigger industries, for example, touch screens.
Well, yes, that's the case. Obviously, even in the analog era, we still had components that were built as standard parts in electronic devices. But for example, touchscreen are now everywhere in phones, smartphones, tablets, and of course we are trying to emulate that kind of user approach in these mixers. So users are now familiar with their phones, with their tablets. We are giving them a very similar experience on the Q16.
Are there any really new features compared to your other mixers?
There's one very new feature, which is what we call Q Drive. It's the ability to record directly multi-track into a USB drive, which is the first time we've ever seen it on a digital mixer from any manufacturer. So basically, instead of carrying around a computer or a complex setup, I just send all my channels straight into a USB drive to capture the performance. And I can also play back multi-track on all my channels for virtual sound check or studio applications.
Does this mixer support, for example, Dante?
It doesn't support Dante, no. We support our own proprietary digital snake, which is called D-Snake. So there is an Ethernet port on the back, which can be connected to stage boxes for remote Cat5 connection. It also supports our new personal mixing system, a personal monitoring system, which is called the Mi-1. So the D-Snake port is compatible with Mi-1.
And why did you choose your own standard?
There are several reasons. One of these is it's a very low latency protocol. So other protocols, standards based on TCP/IP like Dante and many others have got limits in the lower latency they can get. While with Q16 and D-Snake, we are about 100 microseconds of transport latency on the protocol, which is really nothing.
And I can see that there is an iPad connected to the mixer.
Yes, it's connected over Wi-Fi, so it's a wireless connection. You can just plug in a Wi-Fi router or access point to the mixer, and then you can connect an iPad or an iPad mini with a free app that it's possible to download from the App Store. And you can control all the mixing functions of Q16, like fader levels, pan, graphic EQ, compressors, gates, just walking around the venue, so you can walk on the stage, control the EQ of a wedge monitor while you actually stand in front of the wedge and look at the RTA spectrum analyzer in your iPad app.
And how do you see the future development of mixers?
Well, we are seeing a trend for more and more wireless control options, and the control surface is much less important than it used to be. With our bigger products like the iLive, we've got customers buying that rack only with no control surface and are happy to control it with an iPad or with a computer running on Wi-Fi. So mixing is changing. It's becoming more and more about control, about networking, so using all these different standards to distribute audio or record into a computer, and it's less and less about the physical control and feeling of the faders.
Does this mean that, and also this lower prices, I guess it will mean that a lot of new customers will be available?
I think so, yeah, definitely. Mixing was all about sound engineering and people doing schools for mixing and doing years and years of training. Now it's a bit different because we've got very young people, very young students who can basically afford a very simple digital solution with an iPad control or with an iPhone access and their laptop, using their laptop. And that's changing completely the way sound engineering is working.